everybody, welcome back. So in case you're wondering why there still is a Christmas tree in my background, it's because I am pre-recording this, so that's why. Okay, so we're back with another base game build, and I gotta say, it is pretty fun building these. My last one was like a tiny house, but just base game. And it was quite refreshing, you know, because you don't have all the options, you know, it's kind of a little bit easier. And I figured, you know, since the base game is free, it makes sense to maybe put out like a couple of base game only builds. So yeah, so everybody has access to them and you don't have to worry about like not having items or yeah, stuff like that. So for this one, I decided to go with a base game starter home, and I did have an inspiration picture, which I will pop up on the screen right now if I don't forget, like I did before. But yeah, it kind of just looked, it was quite simple. It has this gorgeous red brick, like this really warm reddish brick on the exterior, and it has a green door and then white windows, and that's kind of it. Like, it's quite simple. It's very small. It has a simple shape, but it has these green accents, and I thought that works so well. The warm red with the green accents, like the dark, or it's more like it's very vibrant kind of green accents, just works very well. And they have it had wide windows, and that also gave like another contrast. So I thought that's really cool, and I thought that would be definitely possible to turn that into a base game house. So yeah, as usual, if I want to build something pack restricted, I always filter by, you know, in this case, base game, or like the specific pack that, you know, I would want to build with. And I have to say, it wasn't really hard to keep this under 20,000 simoleons, which yeah, like a starter home, if I'm not mistaken, it can max be 20,000 simoleons. So if you have a new Sims family, and I'm pretty sure the budget, like the starter budget, is 20,000 simoleons. And so I did think I was gonna struggle with that because well, usually my builds are very expensive. Like, even tiny houses usually are like a couple of 100,000 simoleons, which is a lot, but it wasn't actually that hard. Like, what I did was I tried to always kind of use the cheapest possible item. So that's kind of what I tried to do. I didn't do that for everything, but well, I definitely went with the lower priced items always, and I gotta say, they are quite pretty. Like, there is something about base game builds, you know, you can definitely tell it's not very, especially the colors, I said that in the last build, they're just not very vibrant, and it's not very interesting for that, like, because of that, but still, there are cute items, even if in the very low price section. And even like when it comes to flooring, like the floor that I used here, the wooden floor, I'm pretty sure it's the cheapest wooden floor available, and I think it's so pretty. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. And the wallpaper is also, like, I think it's 2 simoleons, so it's also very cheap, and I think it's so pretty as well. Like, I use that wallpaper all the time anyway. Looking back now, I have to say, I kind of regret not using a more of a bold kind of wallpaper on the upper floor, because I was struggling again to make this look like more vibrant and more colorful. So yeah, using like a colorful wallpaper, that would be, you know, that would have helped, you know, but yeah, okay. I didn't do that, so yeah, I have like a color scheme for this build. Overall, it's kind of blue and orange, or like sometimes it's like a salmony orange color, sometimes it's like a very vibrant orange color, but those were kind of the colors that I stuck to for the most part. And I did mix some wood tones here and there, so yeah, that's how I kind of try to make it more interesting. And I think in the end it turned out pretty good. Like, I mean, there's only so much you can do when working with base game only, and also if you're like restricted in money. So you are quite limited. But for that being the case, I think it turned out pretty cute. Like, compared to the starter homes that we have in game, I think this one's definitely has more interest to it. Like, I don't want to, you know, it's if I do say so myself, you know. So yeah, but I think it's quite cute. It should all be functional for 2 Sims. I play tested it. There was a bit of trouble with the bed sometimes. I don't know what that was about. It worked most of the time, everything worked, but sometimes it didn't. So I'm not quite sure what that was about, but it might be due to the I put up these clothing hanging shelves, you know, where there's like clothing on them. I think they're in the wall decor section. I put those up on the left side of the bed, and maybe that's why there are some problems. So in case you run into problems playing, maybe just get rid of them. You could always put down like a painting or, yeah, you know, so yeah, just so you know. Yeah, so I keep going back and forth kind of inside the house. I keep going like upwards and, you know, into the first floor and then to the ground floor again, because I'm just checking the money. For some reason I couldn't, like, I always had unlimited money because I have free build mode enabled, and that is due to some mod that I have installed. Yeah, so I thought it was MC Command Center, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I think I have another mod, and I think that's, yeah, what caused that. And I just couldn't figure it out. I didn't really want to like look into my mods and figure out which one it is. So I just went back, you know, every once in a while I attempted to, or like I saved it or wanted to save it. You know, if you click save to the gallery, it will show you the price of the lot, you know. So that's what I did every once in a while. So that's kind of why I keep going up and down, because I just gradually kind of added stuff, especially like decor. And I kind of wanted to place that all throughout the build in case, you know, in case I went up to the budget, like, you know, in case I hit 20,000 simoleons. And yeah, so I didn't want to go back everywhere and, you know, take everything down. So that's what I did. Yeah, and surprisingly, it was like I went back a couple of times, and each time I was quite surprised about how little money I had actually spent, because I checked on the items and they are so expensive, like especially furniture. I don't know, they are a couple of hundred simoleons, you know, and it's like, oh, you know, the TV I think was like, I don't know, I don't remember, but it's expensive, and that's like, the only TV that's cheaper would have been the Penguin TV, and I didn't really want to use that, so I went with that one, and it was expensive. Like, yeah, so I really, like, here I'm actually starting to add clutter, but I wasn't actually sure if I was going to be able to even add clutter at all in the beginning, because, you know, clutter is expensive too, you know, some clutter items are well, a couple of hundred simoleons as well. So, and that's only clutter, you know, it's like, doesn't really make sense to add that, but yeah, I'm pretty happy that I was able to, because I don't know, it wouldn't really be my build without clutter, you know. So yeah, I'm quite happy that I was able to put down quite a lot of clutter, actually. And one thing that I did, like, I don't know if you might consider this cheating or not, but I did use quite a bunch of debug stuff, and most of the debug items, if not all of them, base game anyway, are free, so they don't cost anything. So I did place a couple of books here. I placed like the coffee that we have. I placed like some oil. I think we have like an oil bottle somewhere, like, which looks like olive oil. And especially for the landscaping, like you will see that in a minute. I only used debug plants, only plants and trees, all base game, and debug base game anyway. So yeah, I only used debug because it's free, and You saw that in the inspiration picture. The landscaping for this one really kind of makes the build. It's very lush, you know, there's a lot of green and there's a lot of orangey kind of tones there, which kind of makes the orangey brick pop even more, like the warmth in the brick, you know. And I really didn't want to miss that. And also, like, I use debug landscaping stuff always anyway, so yeah, I really do. Like, most of the time I use much more debug landscaping items than I use non-debug landscaping items, because they're just more pretty, you know. They have more texture, they're more detailed. Oftentimes they're bigger, you know, so if you want to size them down, that doesn't really mess with the quality. But if you want to size an item up, oftentimes it can just look, you know, a bit pixely and it doesn't really look great. So we have a lot of landscaping items. We have in debug the same ones that we have in non-debug, but they're just bigger, you know, they have a better quality, if that makes sense. Anyway, so I am actually quite happy with the color scheme on the inside. In the paintings, I also try to kind of incorporate this orangey, warm kind of color. I try to bring that from the outside to the inside, and I do find the blue and the orange work really well together. And I did actually use a lot of the paintings that I used. A lot of them are not from the painting section, but they are in the decor. I don't know which decor section that is, but they're not in the painting section. So they are kind of like, they probably came with Get to Work, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. But they are like space kind of photographs, kind of. I think that's what they're supposed to be. But they're just very colorful and they're actually very beautiful. So I decided to use those. And yeah, now we're working on the landscaping. And I am so happy with how this turned out. I absolutely love the landscaping. I think it complements the colors of the house so well, like the green and the reddish brick. I think it works so well with the landscaping. And I am so happy that I found, because, you know, usually when I place a path like that, which is spray paint, you know, it's I don't like doing that because I just find it very unrealistic. You know, no one in real life would spray paint a path to their house. It just doesn't happen. That doesn't exist. You know, it doesn't make sense. You would place stone, you know, or whatever. Yeah, so what I typically try to do, if I do that, is I cover the edges with these little rocks that we have in the landscaping section, and they are not free. So I knew I couldn't use those because I have to use a billion of those to make it look cute. But I did find some rocks in the debug section, which is happening right now, and they are free, and they are quite big, but I just sized them down quite a lot with tool. So yeah, initially I just placed them here and there, but in the end I decided to really just go all out and place them all around the path. And I will also include a path which leads to the back of the house, because they do have a little bit of a backyard area with like a seating area and a grill, and I think like some planter pots and that kind of stuff. So they do have some activities as well. And so yeah, the rest of the video basically is gonna be me placing these little rocks around the paths. So, but I decided to keep it all in. Like, I didn't do any cuts for this build, which is rare. Like, I never do that, actually. For no build, I always cut, because I just build, it takes forever, you know. So, for this one, I didn't cut anything. And normally, you know, I would think for placing rocks like that, I would cut some of that out just because I find it quite repetitive and it's a bit like boring to watch. But then I thought, you know, it might be fun to kind of watch the whole process you know, for a change and really see like what I am doing and how long it takes. And so I decided to just keep everything in, and the video isn't that long, so I thought, you know, I might as well. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And I am quite well, I mean, if you've been here for a while, you would know that I am a bit of a perfectionist. So placing rocks like that, that takes me a while because of the shape. I always, if I work with paths like that, I always want to have like a perfectly round, curved kind of shape. And that takes me a while to get there because I like replace the rocks a million times. And in this case, I also did terrain. And yeah, because of that, you know, you can't really, this isn't really possible to do without tool mod, if I'm being completely honest, because if you just place the rocks, they would just hover in the air, and that just doesn't look great, you know. But if you use tool, you can select the item and then just click the spot that you want the item to be, and they basically already are kind of stuck in the ground. Sometimes I do lower them a little bit more, but for the most part, that's kind of enough to make them look like, you know, they're actually like sitting on the ground and not like hovering half in the air. So yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, and here you can just see me like doing a little bit of this backyard kind of area. And yeah, I think I am really quite surprised at like how much stuff I could use. Like, I don't know, but I mean, this is like, I think that it's 19,800 something simoleons, and I would have preferred it to be a little bit cheaper because you know, if you have a new family and you want to buy a house, you don't want to spend like all your money on the house, obviously, so that you have like a little bit left, you know, for food and all that. So but I figured, you know, I didn't really want to get rid of anything, so it is under 20,000 simoleons. And I figured it's fine because, you know, you can always just get a job right away, and then you go to work the next day and you will get your money instantly. So I figured it's gonna be fine, you know. They will have like a couple simoleons, so they should be able to buy something to eat, you know. So yeah, and I'm still working on the rocks. And I will place this, I will connect the two paths in a minute because well, I ideally I would have preferred it to have like a back door, you know, the house, but there just wasn't any space on the inside, so it just wouldn't have, I would have had to change a lot of stuff on the inside, and I didn't really want to do that. So I just decided to place another path that leads to the back, so they can actually walk there. And I do find in the end it looks great like this because it brings a bit of a balance, because without the path, the landscaping on the left side of the house is a bit like, it's more because there's this bump out on the right where actually there's like the entrance, you know, the door. And because of that, there's more landscaping on the left side. God, I can't talk today. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so I think for that reason, it actually worked pretty well to incorporate this other path that leads to the back. And I mean, yeah, it does bring, like, it does give the whole build more interest, you know. It's just more, yeah, it makes it look more interesting. And yeah, I do love paths like that, you know. I think they look so cute, and sometimes I feel like maybe it's a bit much, but then if you look at like the overall kind of build and look at the whole picture, I think it looks pretty cool, you know. If you just look at the paths kind of, you know, exclusively and blend out everything else, it might look a bit like, you know, after you place rocks for so long, you kind of get this tunnel view, you know, and you're just seeing rocks and paths, and you're like, God, that's a lot of rocks, you know. But once you see everything together, it does look quite cohesive, you know, and it makes everything it works, you know, it works well together, and I guess that's like the most important thing. So yeah, I am quite happy with how the pass came out, and yeah, now I'm just placing some trees again, all debug, and this tree, I don't know what kind of tree that is, but it does have like some I don't know, some flowers hanging down. I really have no idea what tree that would be. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a magical kind of tree or something fantasy. I don't know, but if you know what kind of tree that is, let me know in the comments. But I did really want to use that because I think it's so cute. And I never really use it because it's, I don't know, it has this special kind of vibe to it, you know, it looks very, I don't know, kind of fantasy-like, I don't know. And this build is very, I don't know, it looks a little bit like a fairy tale house in my opinion, you know, it's very, very romantic, kind of romantic garden kind of style, you know, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm very happy that I was able to incorporate this tree because I don't know, I think it works very well, and I think it's absolutely super cute. And if you're in live mode, it kind of, you know, it moves in the wind, you know, and it looks so cute, it looks so gorgeous. I have a couple of cinematic shots where you can see that. So yeah, I hope you like that. And yeah, this is already it for this build. So I very much hope that you enjoyed the build and the video. And if you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Enjoy the cinematic shots in the end, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!